The drunk daughter recounted. She said, my father so believed in a drunk that he was unwilling or not afraid to risk everything that he owns in life, but entrusted it into the hands of a drunk. If my father so believed in me when I was a drunk, then I would do nothing but honor his wishes now that he needs my help. Welcome to another edition of Issues by Elsie. Thanks for your subscription. I am here because you're there. And just like I would always say, we're going somewhere for great and bigger things to happen. So thanks for your support. A father's love for his drunk daughter. A man had two daughters. The first and the second, of course. The first one had trouble with staying away from alcohol. She was a drunk. The second daughter had her life together. She had a good job and had things going for her. The man had a very good friend, and some years back, the friend told him while they were at a shooting range that, you know, very soon we will be getting old. We need to go find a lawyer, because I'm about to go see a lawyer and give them something like a power of attorney and create a power of attorney for someone who can control my estate when I become incapacitated or get old. And the friend said, oh, it's a good idea, let me go with you. So they went over and saw the lawyer. And when it was time for this man with the two daughters to sign his own paperwork, when they asked him who he felt he could grant power of attorney in case of anything happening to him, he bent down and wrote the drunk daughter's name on the paper. When he wrote that, the friend saw it, and the friend was like, are you crazy? Is this not the daughter that is drunk? He said, yes. He said, oh, so you are not worried about a drunk who will squander everything about you and when you can no longer do anything? And the man responded, he said, yeah, she might be a drunk, but she has a very good spirit. She's a good person. She's just battling some demons. You see, this second daughter you are talking about that I should put as my power of attorney? Oh no, she's as selfish as the mother. I can't risk my life into her hands, because she and the mother, they will be so fast to throw me out if I ever give them the opportunity to run my life or take decisions for me when I'm incapacitated. The two friends argued back and forth in the lawyer's office, and the lawyer said, well, these things are usually not final. You can go think over it and come back, and we can always make a change. The two friends left and they went home. Years passed, and the man became sick. One day the friend moved into his house and found out that he had taken all his guns, and whatever he was trying to do with the guns. So the friend called up the daughters and was like, no, I came in, I saw your dad with all his guns lined up. Your dad is losing it. I don't think he's in a good position to be able to take decisions for himself. He said he had taken the father to a doctor, and the doctor said he had some kind of early stages of dementia and that he needed someone to run his affairs. So that is why he's calling them up, so that they can come together and decide what they want to do with their father. When he called up the first daughter said, well, I don't think I'm the right person to call. Call my sister and call my mom, who is in assisted living. The father's best friend said, no, you need to come, because all three of you will go to a lawyer. I remember your father once did something with a lawyer. I was also there, but I don't know, it's been many years. So let's all go there and hear what the lawyer says. So they came down, and they came together, went and saw the lawyer. And when they went to the lawyer, they discovered that the lawyer read out that the man had put the older and supposedly drunk daughter as the one in charge of his estate in case of anything happening to him. The girl was very shocked because years back, just to give you a preview of what it used to be like, the girl was so drunk that she couldn't keep a job. She had a daughter. The Child Protective Services had to step in and rescue the child because they found out she was not capable of taking care of the girl. And when she got kicked out of her apartment because she couldn't keep a job to pay for it, the father called her in to come and stay in the basement. And she will go out and is so drunk that when she gets back home at around 2 a.m., the father will only hear the door open, but will always sit waiting for her. When she comes in, the father will go down to the basement and just talk to her. I know you're battling some demons. I know that things are rough for you, but I believe in you. I know that you will come through this, you will get through this, and you will be the beautiful person that you are. Every day she came back drunk, the father will go down, talk to her. Sometimes when he's talking to her, she's dozed off, and the father will finish talking to her, get a blanket, cover her, and go back upstairs. Years passed, the girl eventually got claimed, went through the process, whatever she needed to do, and eventually got back her daughter, moved to a different city, and was living there. And after many years, the father now became sick, and that is when the friend called them to come together, and so that the lawyer could tell them what the father had put in place in terms of care and in terms of if he was incapacitated to do anything. When the lawyer read out what the father had put together, the girl was very, very shocked, because when she looked back, she knew she had been the bad person in the family, the drunk. Nothing good, like they said, can come out from her. And it was so emotional that when they eventually gave, with that authorization now, she could get into the paperwork and the finances of the father to see what decisions she could eventually put in place to make sure the man was taken care of. As the lady looked through the finances, the lady discovered that the mother had moved to an assisted living. While she was in the assisted living, the father was coughing up the bills and paying just to keep the mother happy. She declared that the mother was very selfish, and that there was no reason why the mother was moving into an assisted living when the house was paid off, just because she didn't want to deal with a father or her husband that was declining. She even recounted that the lady had moved to an assisted living and found a new boyfriend where she spent time flaunting the guy in front of the father each time the father went down to visit the wife at the assisted living. But just to fast forward, the lady told them, when she found out that now had the power of attorney to control the finances and everything, she told the mother that you need to get an apartment and get out of that assisted living, because whatever it is, looking at these financial statements, you've racked up everything that was supposed to be yours. And right now, that needs care, which I would have to give it to him. So you have to figure out a way, because I wouldn't be coughing up $6,000 for an assisted living, whereas you have cheaper options. And then she even looked at it and saw that the mother was also asking for another $6,000 to take care of the dog. And so she said, well, there's nothing for the dog. If you can't take care of the dog, take it to the shelter, because whatever money that I have right now, I'm directing it all towards father's care. She set the ball rolling, looked for people to come in and start caring for the father. She put up the house for sale, and she said she was going to use it and take care of the father and to ensure that the man had the best during his last days on earth. Why do I tell us this story? The drunk daughter recounted. She said, my father so believed in a drunk that he was unwilling or not afraid to risk everything that he owns in life, but entrusted it into the hands of a drunk. If my father so believed in me when I was a drunk, then I would do nothing but honor his wishes now that he needs my help. Many a times when we raise children, we know the character of our children. We can pretend all that we want. We know the children that are good. We know the ones that are bad. Ironically, it is usually the good ones, the ones that have the capability of keeping the family together or making the family move in a good direction, that the devil comes in and tries to always destroy. But if we hold on to God and continue to show love and support and pray, just like this man did, encouraging his daughter, he saw the beauty in tomorrow. While others looked around and saw a drunk, the man saw the spirit far beyond the drunkenness. He saw that he had a daughter who was good in the spirit. And that is what the man was looking at, the beauty of tomorrow. He believed in the daughter that tomorrow she would eventually become the better person that she was and will take care of him. When people tell us that they love us, but are so willing to drop us when we are at a point in our lives or down in our lives and things are not happening or facing one problem after another, it is clear they did not love us. Because love will certainly, people who love us will not abandon us when we are down or at the lowest of lows in our lives. They will stand with us and make sure we eventually come out of the demons and the things we are battling. That is the same way God loves us. He looks and is always looking at the spirit. Even regardless of our iniquities, God is always looking at the spirit that he gave us, which is a good spirit. If only we will look up to him and call on him to help us, even when we are down, God will change our stories. And just like the daughter came around and decided to keep to the father's wishes, many of us, our families have entrusted things in our hands because they believe in us. They believe there was a reason as to why those things were entrusted into our hands as children. It's because of the faith that they had in us. May we not disappoint our parents. May we not disappoint even our children when they so believe in us, because love, the ultimate of it all, is love. What can we learn from this family story? Let's begin with the father. This man raised 2 daughters, and he was very, very aware or knew the character of both daughters. So much so that when the other one was even battling the alcoholism in her life, he did not forget the fact that besides the alcoholism she's battling with, the girl has a good spirit. Whereas the daughter who had her life together, he also knew, because he raised that same girl and knew that even though she's able to put things or has her life working for her, she has a selfish spirit. When we raise our children, we know each and every one of them. We might pretend, but we know them. The good thing about this father is that he was not willing to switch. He was not willing to forget about the good spirit of his first daughter and go for the second one just because he was looking at the physical. We have many people in families, and families have been torn apart because we have parents who do not believe in children or believe in children just when things are working for that particular child. We have parents who are so willing to support one child because the child brings in money, whereas the other one who does not have enough money or things are not working for, no, they don't see any reason as to support. You have parents who today do not love children that they used to love because one thing happened, a demise happened in their life, or some misfortune happened, and the wealth or the money that they used to give them, they could no longer give them, and things like that. We cannot be such parents. When we say we love, we must truly love. Love sees the beauty of tomorrow, just like this father saw in the daughter. He knew that regardless of her drunken state, she was a beautiful person, such that he was willing to risk everything in a society like this. He was willing to risk everything into the hands of a drunk daughter. Can you imagine if by the time they called and handed over everything to her and she was still in the drunken state? The love we have for people will eventually pull them out of the destruction or the dangerous path that they are found in, into the marvelous light of God. Sometimes when in families, you will discover that it is the child that has the ability to hold the family together and bring change, make the family great. You will find out that it's such a child that is always often attacked to be battling either alcoholism, drugs, or something, just can't keep a job, can't stay in school and everything. But if as parents, if we continue to pray and encourage, God will eventually show us mercy. This also goes to say, when we as parents, we know the characters of our children, that their characters are not good. We know that the children are bad, but we pretend, we cover up, we lie and even support, when we know deep down within that the children or the sons and daughters that we have are selfish, are wicked, are capable of doing the bad things that either the school calls to report that they did, or somebody calls to say they did this, and we know deep down in our hearts that the children we raise are capable of doing these things. But what do? We cover them up. We try to cover it, cover the evil and everything, when deep down we know that because we raise them, we know their characters. That is also not good. If we know that if you know that your child has a character that is not good, you have to always talk, encourage, and make the child understand that you expect nothing but goodness to come out from them so that they can be better people in the society. Do you have a child that is battling a problem? Are you a father or mother that you look at your child and you just feel like things are not working? As parents, we have an obligation with the help of God to change things, to encourage, to pray. And God, who sees our hearts, will change that child that is either battling addiction, that is battling drugs, that is a thief, that is a criminal, as you continue to pray, because there's just no other way. But I believe that prayer, just like this man encouraged, you pray, you show love, but you make the children understand that you would not support evil, and you keep praying and God will come through, just like God came through for this man's daughter, and she eventually fulfilled the father's wish, even when the father had lost his mind. Love sees the beauty of tomorrow. Love is encouraging. Thanks for watching.